Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lotus, Lotus the Sage. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you being here. So today we have another pick a card as usual, and today's pick a card is going to be your soul's most recent activation. So we have 3 piles as per usual. So for pile 1, we're going to use the runes as choices today. So for pile 1, we have Yyiŭ̦, I think is how you pronounce it. Standing for common sense, caring, and love. Pile 2, you have Yyiŭ̦, which stands for insight, vision, and wisdom. And for pile 3, we have ΔŊ, and that talks about awakening, awareness, and enlightenment. So whichever rune you might be called to, or whatever shape for that matter might be calling you, pick that pile, take a second, and I will see you at your choice. Welcome my pile 1 who chose Yyiŭ̦. Gonna leave your rune over here. Let's spread out the guidance cards we have first. Or the oracle cards, I should say. Okay, my beautiful collective. So we have your first 2 cards that are going to let us know literally what was the most recent soul activation. So I'm approaching this as in it's already happened. So this is what we're looking into. So let's see what we have first. Ooh, we have the Venusians in the reverse. My pile 1s. It feels like your soul's most recent activation has been a lesson on learning about breakups, about unrequited love, infatuations, crushes. It can deal with like closing your heart or being closed off to love. Can be a really particular, difficult or hard breakup. And also obsessive thoughts. So that's what it feels like, and especially when it comes to your rune of Yyiŭ̦, when it comes to common sense, caring, and love. So it does feel like a heavy emphasis on the love dynamic in your life, romantic in particular. So it feels like you needed to go through this particular lesson or difficulty for you to really understand what true connection is with self first, then with another, is what they're telling me. Interesting. Okay, let's see what this has to add. The dolphins. Interesting, you have 23 and 24. I'll read it to you. Dolphin sonics purify and raise the frequency of water as they swim through it so that they can access, maintain, and pass on the wisdom of golden Atlantis and Lemuria. Those dolphins who shimmer with aquamarine light were the angels of Atlantis. They are mighty beings who help to hold the frequency of the oceans. Choosing this card invites you to tune into the beautiful dolphins and access a message from them. Your guidance is to relax and flow with the current of ascension, knowing that the dolphins are telepathically imparting help and wisdom to you. Your affirmation: I connect with dolphin wisdom, speaking about learning about unconditional love. And I feel that might be what this real big lesson was, is about you learning what unconditional love really is. Within yourself too. And I'm feeling like this, if this resonates when it comes to a particular breakup, I feel like this was a very, very hard one to release. And I don't know if it's fully released from your energetic field yet, to be fair. Okay. What might this feel like or look like? This whole soul's activation, the most recent activation. How did it play out? No. Yeah, it's more like what it might feel like for you. Child eternal came out on the light side. Determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. Ability to see things with fresh eyes. They just said that this was a part of the learning of still trying to maintain the eternal child, but recognizing what is actually occurring. They're coming back to the common sense. You know, it's to be situated in reality, in practicality, and not overly in the obsession of the feeling. How else might it play out? Or might it feel like? The warrior in the reverse says, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. This is what I feel like it's done. Like, I don't know if you've, it's not if you have, how it's feeling is as if you were at the mercy, again, this obsessiveness with this particular dynamic. This is very interesting. Let me take a minute. They're saying you might have, because of this realization, you might be feeling like this warrior in reverse. Like you've traded some of yourself to be in something that was false if this is how it ended. That's sort of the dialogue they're giving me. And the people or person involved is not very, you feel, maybe not very aware or considerate of the effect it has had on you. But that's what, again, that's what it feels like. Okay. Let's see the lighter energies. It says endless possibilities. This is so interesting because there is this sweetness and this naivety about the way that you are looking at this particular situation. And that's why they keep bringing me back to this eternal child. They're like, they don't want you to lose this, but there is something that you needed to learn because of the softness and ability to see things with endless possibilities and fresh eyes. It was like an unending well of forgiveness, which is amazing, but it didn't fit and feed the relationship in a way that will benefit both souls. Growth. The growth that your soul needed is to learn how to deal with this particular heartbreak. Closing of the heart, but remaining open. It's very interesting. But this will teach you, in the same breath, to be able to filter your unhealed past. Using your awareness and discernment now. And really recognizing what is actually possible. And having the courage to leap beyond even that possibility. Of whatever this may have been that might have felt like the end-all be-all. The one. The life partner. However this might play out. But it's like there's so much more to be had. This was a part of a difficult soul lesson, but a humongous growth. Okay, let's use the tarot now. Alchemical tarot, to find out how to move through these energies. These two cards here are going to be your support for the end, just so you know. I don't read this deck in reversals, just so you know. Okay, let us see what spirit or how spirit wants you to move through these energies, or how to use the energies to your advantage. We have the Queen of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Coins, and the Four of Wands. This is perfect. So the Queen of Swords in this deck talks about a duality of taking the positive side or taking the less positive side, which is a green in this energy. And I'm sensing I'm feeling that Spirit is giving you, literally what to embody. It's like, what are you taking from what has just gone on? Are you going to take the negative, or are you going to take the positive? This is a willing, Hanged Man originally, a willing sacrifice, right? So hence this soul's activation, the most recent one of what you needed to do to grow and to evolve. This was a part of it, a voluntary part of it, and also voluntary because you chose to enter this particular union. This is about gaining confidence and skills, going about what one wants, and learning from past experiences. This is talking about reinforcing. It's a protective type of energy, and it's reinforcing good health and wealth. And then that leads you into a more healthy, balanced union, a combination, a union of, like we said, something even more than you've ever thought possible. The right type of one that is long-lasting, protected, stable. You know who you are, your wishes and desires, your confidence and empowerment from lessons learned by a particular cycle of wisdom needed to be gained by this experience. That's beautiful. I'm going to get some Gypsy Oracle cards on the Nine of Cups and the Four of Wands. Just want to get a little bit more info on that. So we have House, falseness, and surprise. So I'm so curious. There's two energies that I'm getting from this clarification. I'm getting, the first one is that it feels like this was not obviously a choice you would have made, period, based on where you were when this happened. It feels like the partner or the persons involved is the one that made this decision to break or separate or whatever the case is. However this dynamic is playing out for you. And that person, I feel, how you move through this energies is going to really surprise them of how you turn out in the end. Like, the end result of you is going to be a completely different version. That's the first energy I'm getting. Second, I feel that you learning about your confidence and yourself and understanding this about the falseness that had happened in the home is also going to surprise you on how you end up handling it. I feel like it's because of a realization that you're like, wait a second, I might not have been seeing this as clearly because I wanted it so badly. But the surprise, there is a huge surprise either within yourself being like how you handle it, or I should say within the people that this may have involved and how you choose to handle it and mature past it and then find your real partner, your real person. Ooh, I love it. Okay, let's see what's on the Four of Wands. Whoa. Okay, let's see come out. Interesting. Okay, so they have flipped the script for me. For some of you, this can... I feel like... Okay, let me give my own 2 cents first before I tell you what's here. I do feel like if you want this person back after your realizations, I feel like because of the fact that your transformation has happened and whatever may have been lacking or part of the reason why it's separated might be rectified and you might get a second chance. That is definitely a possibility that I'm seeing here with these cards that have come out. But in all honesty, I'm not sure that if that evolution does happen in the way that I'm feeling it here, that you may want the same energy back if they are the same person too. Cool. All right, first you have is reunion. They said reunion with your soul. Then you have priest, Again, why I said that there's a possibility, right, that this could be a reunion. But I'm also getting like, for lack of a better explanation, it's like, even though I don't necessarily like to put a hierarchy or some sort of placement on the varying degrees of love, because I definitely think that it's relative and depending on the place that you're at. But if we could do that, being like puppy love to like soulmate love to twin flame love to divine counterpart, that's kind of how I might classify it if I were to do that. This feels like you might have been in a twin flame kind of connection, soulmate bond or soul bond, and this is stepping you into the reunion with your true divine partner, your divine counterpart. That's what it feels like, but that's just what I'm getting at. Then hope and cheerfulness came out together. Hence why I said that there's a very good possibility that this could be a reunion after this transition, though. I will obviously leave that up to you because that is your life and you know it much better than I do. But also the other energy of what I said about a more, let's say, I don't know, maybe compatible partner for you after this transition comes in too. So you might even have to make a decision. Who knows? Okay, that's lovely. Let's see your closing messages here, your support from Spirit. We have, live playfully and with a light heart. Listen to the voice of your inner child. Yeah, and look at this, eternal child. This, I know that this is, like I said, I'm using this as this has already happened, but I don't feel like the full processing of what has happened has occurred. So I do feel like you're in the midst of all of this, and I was expecting it to feel a little bit heavier, but it feels lighter. And why I feel like you guys have probably processed a lot more of these energies within you than you may even realize. And then, oh, I just did a dragon reading the other day. The love of your dragons reaches out to you. The realm of your truth is opening up. Yep, the realm of your truth. That's exactly right. Of your truth. And that's all of this. Which one will you choose? Which pathway? You know, the positive or the negative? Remember that this was a willing opportunity for you to grow. Oh, my beautiful collective. I hope that was helpful and gave you the, I guess, a little bit more info on what's been going on with your soul and how it's been playing out when it comes to this activation within your life. I'm sending you the most amount of love. Keep watering your lives. Until next time. Ciao. Welcome my pal too, who chose the Ansu's rune. Let's spread out your cards. All right, my beautiful collective of pile 2. Let's see what your most recent soul activation has been. And I'm using this reading as in a past tense, like most of it has already occurred or you're through majority of its process of activating within you. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, we have the reptilians in reverse. So it feels like, my collective, your most recent activation has been about surrendering, allowance, acceptance, relaxing, fairness. Maybe even your complexion has cleared up a bit. Interesting. And if we're talking about insight for your for your rune Ansus, if we're talking about insight, vision, and wisdom, it feels all very fitting, right? If you are evolving past the reptilian type of archetype, let's say, and it is this now the sense of the allowance, the surrendering, the fairness, the acceptance, you know, of what is, going with the flow, relaxed. There was a releasing, there was a gaining of some sort of enlightenment naturally, hence the soul's activation. I love this for you. Let's see what else. You have Commander Ashtar. Nice. I'll read it to you. It says, number 39, Commander Ashtar is in charge of the intergalactic fleet, spaceships that patrol and protect this universe. His mothership enters Earth through Machu Picchu, the two-way interdimensional portal that he oversees. Commander Ashtar is connecting with you through the cards and inviting you to view the planets, stars, and galaxies with cosmic eyes. Breathe in the subtle energy and wisdom of the stellar world and allow it to affect your chakra system and ignite your consciousness. Absolutely what's happening. Totally fitting with Ansu's here about this insight and this wisdom, this activation, this consciousness, allowing yourself the acceptance, the surrender. It's beautiful. You are blessed, for this is a card of expanded enlightenment and a call to intergalactic service. Yes. Affirmation, I connect with Commander Ashtar to serve the universe. I love it. That's a beautiful, big, huge transition too. So that's the most recent soul activation that I feel like you're in the midst of, as we were talking about how this process is going to be sort of felt and read. Beautiful. Okay, how will this feel as you go through this? What this might feel like for you? We have the rebel. That's kind of cool. Challenges authority to effect social change. Rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. So I feel like they just said whom. Whomever you were before is where this rebellious nature is coming from. Because if we're talking about the archetype of the reptilian energy, if you were in that prior to this soul's recent activation, it is going to feel like you're rebelling from your previous self. That's what it feels like, and from the environment, because if this is what you've needed to be, or this is the type of energy you've been around, then yeah, it's going to feel like you're rebelling from whatever you have been in or involved in. Then we have Midas, miser, in the reverse. It says hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. And they said it's more about status than wealth, but wealth can also be a factor here for some. So again, when I was talking about that sort of tyrannical nature that the reptilian energy is, very predatory and survival, if you've released that and you're in that surrender phase, again, rebelling with this energy or environment, it might make you naturally a little bit weary of, how do I support myself? Who are my friends? Who's going to be my support team, you know? But Commander Ashtar is here. You are in this process of an expanded enlightenment, and you are being called now for intergalactic service. So wherever you are called and needed is where you will find that Midas touch again, so to speak, where it will be useful for you. Amazing. Let's see the lighter energies of how this might feel. Great big love. Yeah. An expansion of the soul, of the mind, of the heart. It's so good. It's like learning a sense of, not learning, because you were in this reptilian type of archetype. It's understanding what unconditional love is. Romantic love, and how that experience changes you. And that might be what has softened you, per se. You might have found some sort of big, great love of yours. And or just profound harmonious connections. True soulmates, soul tribe. You're finding a new one, you know? This is what this is. It's going to feel like, even though you might be in a state of rebellion, it is bringing you into this great big love. This surrender, this allowance, this acceptance. Oh, it's so sweet. I love it. Amazing. Okay, let's get into your tarot, your alchemical tarot, to see how to move through these energies, or how to continue to move through these energies. These two cards over here are your support for your ending, your closing messages. Just so you know, I don't read this deck in reversals. Beautiful. This sun energy, excuse me. Did I show you what you have? You have the sun. You have the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Coins. You have the World. You have the Ace of Swords. And you have the Lady of Swords. So it's echoing here also to like a union, a union, and I'm really feeling even more so that that's a possibility of how you softened was from a connection with somebody else. And the sun energy is really echoing to this, like this spiritual type of love. That's what the sun symbolizes in this deck. The Ace of Pentacles with this Anima Mundi, like the unlimited, the unseen possibilities yet, but a beautiful opening, becoming of something. And this is fulfilling one's life desires, one's heart's desires, completing something, you know, getting to that full spectrum of your desires. Like that full soul of the world, you know? And this is like the Ace of Swords, which is a good idea. It's a great idea. It's a smart idea. It's something it's beautiful. Like, and you're rewriting it as we speak, literally with this Lady of Swords, which is talking about poetry, song, lyrics, you know, writing it, speaking it into being, so to speak. You know, this is like the alchemization of what this soul activation is bringing in for you. It's really lovely, and I was not expecting that. But that great big love right in the center is definitely a heavy contender. And again, this love doesn't have to be particularly with a person, like marriage type of love. It can just be a beautiful soulmate, an amazing type of family feeling, a community, but this expanded type of love. Again, expanding your own consciousness. I love that. Okay, I would love to get some Gypsy Oracle on the Lady of Swords and the world. Actually, I'm going to do the Sun and the Lady of Swords. I know what the world's talking about. Funny. So it says, first that came out is waiting. Then we have falseness. I'm giggling because you're like, I'm waiting for all these false people to move away from me. And also because of the shedding of the false parts of yourself, or the recognizing the parts of yourself that are no longer helpful. I shouldn't say false. My apologies. As you shed those, and again, the allowance and the surrender of it, the fairness within yourself, you're recognizing what it is that you need, and therefore waiting for the sweetness, the sweetheart to enter, which is still this whole spiritual love. It's like you've had to go through this process, and this person or people or connection has been waiting for you to drop this, for that energy to be matched, so that you guys can meet. This world energy makes even more sense in that context for me. I love that. So I do feel like it has more to do with you releasing your own sense of falseness, and they've been waiting for you. That's what I feel. Okay, let's get some on the Lady of Swords. And they is whatever, right? A person, a thing, a passion, a gift, a skill, you know, however this plays out. Okay, Lady of Swords. Interesting. So we have Thief, Prison, and then we have Conversation. You know what I'm actually feeling, like, which is kind of interesting? I'm getting a sense of whatever you might have been involved in before, when it either comes to this reptilian archetype energy, you were not fully able to be your full expressive self. Like, as I talk about poetry and speaking it into existence, I don't think this was something that you even could have imagined for yourself in the version you were before, for some of you. You know, and I feel like you feel, or had felt, I should say, that some of your joy or your love or zest for life had been zapped, you know, sort of confined in some way. And I feel like this energy that's coming in for you leads to this conversation, which gives you this allowance to feel free again. It's like I'm feeling like this thief that might have been imprisoned, but what was imprisoned was what was stolen from you. This is the energy I'm getting. Not like you got imprisoned, but you may have been, like, felt just imprisoned in general by the circumstances. But what I'm feeling when it comes to the interpretation here is that part of you that got stolen and captivated or captured is now being freed by this conversation, by the words, you know, by the ideas, by this manifesting of what it is that you're, or whom it is that's coming in for you. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, my beautiful collective. Let's see what your closing support is for you, my loves. We have: a difficult path is being revealed. Ask for help and learn that we are all connected. And I think this is a process in which you're in, right? The path of the rebel, of finding who your friends are, reconnecting with new people, finding a new tribe. All of this is a process. We know this. Still in the sense of waiting, still breaking down your own barriers, allowing yourself to expand with this enlightenment download and upgrade to be of intergalactic service. You know? To refine again, because the Midas is in reverse, right? We still need to find, how am I going to support myself fully? There's still a little bit of that worry and weary here. Amazing. Okay. And then we have: release your creative energies. Make use of them in your life. Maybe this is where this Midas stuff comes in, right? With this green energy also. Entrepreneurial, I'm reading the positives, the light side. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold, delight in sharing life's riches. This is what I'm feeling here. It's like tap into the exactly, yeah, sorry, they just keep bringing me things. Tap into the untapped potential, to the, like I said, that what got stolen from you, in a sense of that feeling of lack of creativity, of expression, of self-expression. Make use of this in this life, in this version, in this cycle right now is what I'm getting at, or what they're getting at, and what I'm trying to convey to you. You know, it's bringing all of these talents, like I said, this poetry, this speaking it into being, writing it into being. These both have musical instruments, and this one's like a harp, and I can't remember what this one's called here, but it's, you know, those older type of banjo type vibes. It's not a banjo, but you know what I'm getting at here. There's music, there's things to be said, to be spoken, to be written, to be created. So that's how you can find that Midas touch again, or a new sense of support that you may not have tapped into before because of your past environment. I don't know why this is bothering me so much. Sorry, guys. Okay, my beautiful collective, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to leave your messages here. Just a reminder of that Ansu's, what's happening for you in this soul's most recent activation is that insight, the vision, and the wisdom. And this is bringing in a whole bunch of beautifulness as you use this energy, how to work through these energies. People will be coming in for you. You will learn what is false and what's not. But within this bunch of people or energies, there is somebody or some things or a group of people. It feels singular. If I'm honest, it does feel singular, and that singular person introduces you into a group. That's the energy that I'm getting. But it can play out in any way. Great big love. Oh, my collective. Speaking of eights, you have an 8 here and an 8 here. The last pile had 9 and a 9 in the same card. If I'm correct, I could totally be making that up. But it feels like it is, or they're bringing me to a cyclical thing, like you're really close to the end of this integration. Oh, I love it for you. Okay, my collective pile 2, I'm sending you so much love. If it was helpful in any way, please let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like. I would love to hear about it. Keep watering your lives. Until next time, ciao. Welcome, my pal 3 who chose YyiÜ̲. Gonna put your rune over here and spread out your cards. All right, my beautiful collective of pile 3 who chose YyiÜ̲, which is talking about awakening, awareness, and enlightenment. Let's see what your most recent soul activation has been. And I'm using these energies in the past tense, where you've been through the bulk of it, is what the energies, or how the energies have been playing out. And I feels like this is like your help or your support for the last push of that cycle. Well, you have the Merkaba, movement, long distance, travel, and excitement. It seems that it's so, sorry, there's so many synchronicities here that I'm looking at. So I'm feeling also, because of this Degas symbology here, or the way it's depicted, and the way that the Merkaba is here, like I'm seeing Degas within Merkaba, you know, which is perfectly fitting, especially with the travel vessel, you know, the astral travel vehicle, so to speak. You might be experiencing a lot of astral travel or vivid dreams, clairvoyance, claircognizance. You might actually just be moving or shifting, or there might be a kundalini rising, a shift in your energy that way. You might be having a lot of out of body experiences. Again, this is a type of ascended consciousness is what's happening in your most recent soul's activation. A lot of excitement, a lot of action, a very charged head. You might be getting a lot of headaches or pressure headaches. It's really quick flashes of inspiration. Interesting. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We have Hilarion. I'll read it to you. Hilarion, number 46. Hilarion is from Saturn and steps down his energy through the Temple of Truth over Crete. He is negotiator for Earth on the Council of Saturn and helps us remain connected to our spiritual journey. As master of the orange fifth ray of technology, science, truth, and knowledge, he invites you to open your mind so that you can drop seeds of new ideas into your consciousness. He assists those who are ready to become higher channels in clairvoyance. We did say that. And I did talk about ascended consciousness, right? And they said something about seeds of new ideas. Yet you can drop seeds of new idea into your consciousness. So really big, huge spiritual awakening for you, my pal threes. Your guidance is to sit quietly and ask him to help you be all that you can be. Your affirmation: I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. That's beautiful. So maybe you're getting some new spiritual gifts. They said that clairvoyance, I was saying, or claircognizance. Again, this shift in a consciousness and awareness, astral travel, out-of-body experiences, a lot more supernatural, quote-unquote, things happening to you. Interesting. Okay, cool. How might this feel for you as you're going through this process? Samaritan. Light attribute refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Interesting. Well, maybe that's a part of this ascended consciousness, right? And a part of Degas about awakening and awareness to the enlightenment that's occurring. And even if it might be not necessary for you to help per se, but you go out of your way to help now. That's what it feels like. It's like it's not even a thing. And then the Hermit. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. So again, I feel like you are really connected, my pal threes. You literally are this good Samaritan, and you know how to retreat to, again, refill your own vessel. Speaking of the reading I did not too long ago, I feel like you're getting contacted by a lot of spiritual and celestial beings in particular. And I do feel like it happens more when you are alone and in your alone time. And I feel that the way that you integrate what's being downloaded is through your efforts, like what you do, your actions, And I don't necessarily think that all of it's conscious. It's almost like playing out a dream, but in real life, but you don't remember the dream. I hope that analogy makes sense. Okay, cool. Let's see the lighter energies about how this might feel. Time machine. I just heard going back in time. Oh. They said, or they're saying, I don't know if they're talking as your higher self, I've slowed down my inner linear clock and now perceive time differently. On this earthly realm of how I've been experiencing and going through time has truly been more to my detriment than my benefit. so I have chosen to stop. Woo! That was a direct channel. Because this card talks about in the deck, excuse me, this card in this deck, Time Machine, talks about inherited patterns, conditioning, lessons already learned, circular memory, honoring the past without being trapped there. This is what I mean, like you've learned this, and it's like slowing down, you stopped time, went back in time somehow. I feel like that time metaphor is in a sense of, I am rewriting my past. Therefore, my present is playing out differently. It's freaking woo, Pile 3. Like, wow. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Okay, let's take this tarot and find out how to use these energies and continue to, use these energies as they play out for you. And that flame just got so much bigger over here. I know you can't really see it, but this is my skull over here. It got huge as we were talking about that time machine, just so you know. All right. Oh, these cards over here are your support for your final messages, just so you have that idea. I didn't forget. Just so you guys know, I don't read reversals for this deck. Okay, beautiful. I'm really feeling here that, okay, sorry. You have the Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, Lady of Staffs, Knight of Swords, and the Nine of Swords. So the Five of Pentacles or the Five of Coins in this deck talks about, you know, the beggar, the sickness, but it mainly talks about something missing. So how to use these energies here is, this is the sender theme, it seems to be. The Time Machine, like you recognize what has been missing, what that lack mentality has been, how it has kept you hostage in a sense. And now stepping into your masculine energy of the doing, the action. Like I said, there's a lot of action in doing stuff, right? But it's about the intelligence gained, the authority within self, the straight and forward thinking. And that leads you into this Lady of Staff, which is like dancing in that dry desert heat, that love of the new, you know, of this new discovery. And this is obviously talking about slaying one's demons and the strength of character based on the size of the foe. You know, and what you've accomplished, what you've slain, what you've reached past, what you've no longer allowed, you know, that time machine. Again, all this like vessel, time moving, space travel, time travel, excuse me, is the word. And the Nine of Swords, I love this in this deck, talks about moving past and through regardless of fear. And you're doing it, you know, and that's slaying the dragon. Understanding that this is not the cycle that you want to be in, therefore you're stopping it. Changing up your attitude. Again, a whole bunch of huge, humongous downloads for you. Okay, awesome. I want to get some Gypsy Oracle cards on these two, the Five of Pentacles and the Emperor. Wow. Whoa, okay. They're saying this was like an upbringing, hence this is the way that you use time or the way that you were brought up. There's something about you were taught this way of being specifically. That's what they're talking about, and you broke that particular cycle and chain. You have child coming out first. Again, this is the way that you were raised. This lack mentality was ingrained or brought up within you with all of this frivolity. It was like it almost, there's two feelings I'm getting here. That there's a possibility that you may have had a lot when you were younger, and then that all disappeared somewhat because of the adults' choices in however their finances worked, and therefore you ended up living in a different sort of socio-economical status. That's one scenario they're giving me. The other is, like I said, you grew up with this sort of lack mentality, meaning like you can't be frivolous with money. Everything's very frugal, in other words. And then this falseness. They're really giving me a sense of like you got you got the shitty end of the stick when it came to the lesson, meaning like they didn't understand or grasp the lesson of what they were going through, and therefore that energy is transferred onto you as a worry, a burden, and it became a somewhat of an invisible trauma, is how they worded it. But you did it. You recognized it, and you, like I said, you stopped time, went back in time, and rewrote your past, is what I'm getting. Let's get on the Emperor here. Yeah, it was a false identity they tried to give you. It wasn't yours. It was like somebody else's imprint. That's exactly right. Somebody else's imprint on you that gave you some sort of trauma you needed to go through when it wasn't actually yours. That's the way I'm feeling it. Interesting. The Emperor. Let's see. Wasn't ready for that one. It was a little too fast. But it was conversation, just so you know. It did come out in pile 2. I wasn't ready though. Okay. Over the Emperor. So, again, talking about clear thinking, your own authority, right? And I feel like finding a better connection, better, again, not wanting to repeat the lessons of your past life. You have first. I heard wanting to be a better version of a spouse. That's what I'm saying. Like better, I'm hearing, they brought up the communication. They said better communication, better understanding, clear thinking, owning one's own authority, both individuals coming together, not one person in charge. That's what it feels like. Hope and thought. So that's what I feel like. It's like to find a better version of the lessons learned, rewriting again, fixing the broken clock, so to speak, within your programming. Rewriting clearer thoughts, hopeful for your future, to find the right dynamic and partner to move into, regardless of this fear energy, whatever you might be afraid of. Okay, they said give you some on 9 of Swords. I wasn't gonna do it, but Spirit said take 3. Okay. Okay, so you have Doctor. Then you have Prison. And then you have Surprise. I love that. And this is what we were talking about, like moving through regardless of fear. And that's what I feel like you did. Like you gave yourself the remedy. You I don't know, you gave yourself the medicine or the boost or the motivation to do it, even though you felt like you were imprisoned and wasn't sure you could fight your personal demon. Surprise! Yes, you were, my friend. Hence why you're getting this amazing download, this gift of clairvoyance or astral travel, out-of-body experiences, ascended consciousness. All of this is because of the hard work that you've done. This is a huge chain to break, my friend. And you did it frickin' gracefully. Even though you might feel like you weren't, you might have been like a bull in a china shop, but I feel like it was frickin' graceful. All right, let's get your supporting closing messages. Look at that. You are experiencing a spiritual blossoming. Take a new direction and be open to new experiences. What did we just... Wow, it's like written all over your reading, pile 3. All over. Full, hard, heavy, spiritual blossoming, awakening. I love this. Oh my gosh. Listen to the eternal song of your soul. Tune into it and learn to trust it. Learn to trust it. And I think that's exactly what you're doing. Hence why I feel like this realization or the recognition of, like we talked about, the awakening of the awareness, the enlightenment of knowing your power, of changing that, of rewriting your past, you know, of being this beautiful good Samaritan and taking in all this new downloads and information, recognizing where the falsities may have played in, pulling back or sucking some of your energy away or your power away, stepping into your authority, trusting that you're going to be a better version of yourself because you are, taking the time to dance and slay these dragons and move past your fears and step into the surprise that Spirit wants to bring in for you, which is the completion of this particular soul's activation. Oh, my collective of pile 3, I hope that was helpful and gave you the insight about this particular soul's activation and journey and how it's been playing out for you. If it was helpful in any way, I would love to hear about it. Let me know. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Anyways, either way, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep watching your lives. Ciao.